I read a story the other day about a woman who was very highly successful in her career. She was a doctor, actually, an anesthesiologist, and she was in a real dilemma because she was completely unfulfilled in her career. And as a result of that, she felt I think she was feeling pretty unfulfilled in her life. And I've often wondered about what people do when faced with that situation. I mean, here we have a really successful woman who has spent years and years becoming this person of service, and she has spent all of this money to become this person, and now finds that she is completely empty doing it. What is it that you do? Do you pivot in that moment and go, I'm going to give this all up and do something, find what it is that I want to do? Or do you stay the course and say, I've spent way too much time, way too much effort. My whole life's been dedicated to this thing. I need to continue to do that. It's interesting. I don't know, like the article, she was still in that moment of, I don't know what to do. And it was like a self-discovery article that it was really interesting. I wonder how many other people are like that. And it doesn't
Yeah.
even have to be like, a really successful career. I think it stood out because her career was so successful, but you could be doing anything and wake up in the morning and go, wow, this isn't what I thought my life was going to look like. This isn't what I had hoped I was going to become or I was going to do for the rest of my years.
Well, and also you think of when those choices were made, the person you were at the time, and maybe the priorities or the things that you thought were important to you. Like I'd have to, on her, I would really wonder what her original why was of why she went
Mhm.
into that profession. And maybe the pivot isn't huge where it's like you stop your practice, but you move maybe to something in the medical field, but not exactly that. But I say you live once, so if you ain't happy, pivot.
Yeah. It can
Yeah.
be very difficult though when you are, let's say, in her situation, whereby you have now got a lifestyle
Mhm.
that is supported by your financial, you know, situation, and to pivot means changing literally possibly everything.
Mm.
True. It is. And I think, um, don't you think in a way the three of us have done that? We pivoted. We all started kind of our own businesses for our own reasons. I mean, um, we all three of us weren't always in. uh, I think you two were had your own businesses, but they weren't always in what you're doing now,
Mhm.
or it's an extension of what you did before. And we, I mean, for me, I lost my job due to COVID. And I probably could have gone out and found the exact same thing I was doing. I've been doing it for the last umpteen years. And it was a safe bet to do. But was I really happy? And was I feeling fulfilled on that? And so, but it's hard because when you have a lifestyle and you have people having expectations on you and all of this, I don't think that's a simple choice. I think that's a choice that you need help in getting the answer to.
Well, and you got think of status too, right? She has
Yeah.
status, she has authority, she probably has influence. That's a lot of stuff to to give up or not have as much as, but it goes back to what is most important. You're on this on this earth. What is most important to you? And if that is most important to you, don't pivot. But if it isn't, and if you're questioning it, so obviously you've got some concerns.
Yeah. I think that's a hard one. That's a very hard. Tracy, I don't know if a simple journaling would help.
Probably not. Definitely not. I think you definitely need some probably career counseling and all sorts of things. It's interesting because you wonder whether or not, like you said, like it could be like why did she choose this profession in the first
Mhm.
place, right? Like was this like a family expectation? Was mom and dad doctors? Like you know what I mean? Like because a lot of times that also plays a factor in the direction that we take in life. Um, my dad worked in telecom, and I was like, okay, well, I guess that's what I'm going to do. Like,
Mhm.
I had no idea. It wasn't like somebody was presenting me with any other options. So I was like, okay, sure, I'll choose this road too. Um, I'll bet it was a totally different road, but it was still the same umbrella, right?
Mhm.
Telecom. Yeah, and also like, what is it that continues to happen that gets you to the point of thinking, I am not fulfilled doing this? Like, is it really the job, or is there relationship problems? Is there family problems? Is there like how does that weave? Like, what does that river actually
Yeah.
look like? Because I think there's a lot that goes at play there. I don't think most people would wake up in the morning and go, "Oh, I don't want to be a lawyer anymore. I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to be, a maintenance man. I don't want to, whatever the situation is, right?" Um, yeah, I just that is a complicated situation, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But you bring up a good point. There could be other reasons why you're unfulfilled. It could even be something as simple as location.
Hmm.
They don't like the hospital they're at. I think you said she was the anesthesiologist. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
could be the hospital, it could be hospital politics, it could be 1,001 things. Like, but you have to start deciphering what it is you don't like about it, why you don't feel fulfilled. Is it something as simple as, I don't like this hospital's politics? Is that the change you have to make? Or is it, I don't like being in a hospital environment. I want to go help people. You can still be an anesthesiologist and be other places in this world helping people.
Did they,
So,
sorry, did
what
they
is
say anything about like she had red flags or anything? So she's like, obviously this is a buildup of whatever could be what Michelle's saying, but there had to be some red flags. Like as you're moving through life, you start to get red flags when things are kind of like, well, is this really the life I want to lead? You don't just wake up and go, yeah, I'm
yeah,
out of here, or I don't want this life. There have to be some other. So was she not reading them or not paying attention to what was going on in her life to kind of get to that point where she just went, this is not what I signed on for? And which I think is really something important, that we pay attention to those red flags in our life.
right,
Yes. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, because it isn't just I mean, the article sort of painted it like, she woke up one morning and decided this isn't what she wanted to do in her life, right? The article also kind of was slanting towards midlife crisis in women. Um,
Is it a crisis?
yeah, yeah. It's like I know, it's like
Maybe it's a next level. Maybe it's an up level. Maybe it's an awakening.
I know.
Crisis?
and and
What is
really, but
something we do?
so the article was slanted so that she doesn't want to do this, but did not know what it was that she actually wanted to do. She just knew more so what she didn't want. And even that I think is really important. Like
Yeah,
if you can
yeah,
pinpoint what you don't want,
yeah.
we sometimes go, oh, I don't want to think about the negative. I'm just going to try to figure out what it is I want to do over here. But it's like, no, that you got to pay attention to that
Gotta pay
part
attention to that.
too,
Yes,
Yeah.
because it can give you clues into why it is that you don't want to be living the life that you're living right now, or be in
Yep.
the job that you don't want right now. And
Right.
so that you can start to make different choices when you start to
Right.
really analyze what it is that you're doing in the moment. Like,
Right.
helping
Yeah.
people, servicing, whatever you would lump under anesthesiologists. They're incredible people. Thank
They
God they
are.
exist. So it's like, okay, what is it that's wrong with that, to then
Right.
be able to say, this is what it is that I do want to do.
Right. Right. And you're right, Tracy G. It's not a crisis, midlife crisis.
Yeah.
No.
It's like menopause. Men. Oh,
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
a whole nother topic.
Hmm. I remember there was another article I read. This is years ago, and I remember thinking this woman had such chutzpah, but she she was an engineer, a very successful engineer. And she decided that was it. She was giving it all up. She couldn't stand her job, and she became a baker.
Yeah.
And she ended up opening up her own bakery. But before she did that, she had to apprentice and
Yep.
go work for somebody else and become an actual baker before she ended up opening up her bakery. And I remember reading that thinking, wow, like that's like all of those decisions that had to be made to get to that point,
Mhm.
like immense, right? Like you're giving up again, like all that schooling, like you don't become an engineer overnight. They're paid really well. You got a lifestyle. All of a sudden, you're going to go work for somebody else. Well, she was working for somebody else anyways, but like definitely completely different than what you
Oh
were
yeah.
doing, just doing something, but she was just like, no, I want to bake. I want to be a
That's just
bake.
like what Tracy G said. We only have one life. We're only here for as long as our ticket allows us to be here. And, you know, we don't know, even with her. And you said your dad was in telecom, so you went into telecom, the umbrella aspect of it. We sometimes go that, in a way, a safe route. Like, I don't know what I want, so let me try this over here. She could have had the same thing. We're,
Yeah,
we're
yeah, yeah.
all these stories, what it is. And the woman wanted to bake.
Yeah, it was more about her success.
Yeah,
Excuse me. It was more about her success as a baker and the fact that she had gone from this status over here to this status over here, right?
yeah.
And the journey that she had to go to in order to get there.
But she's also now living her
Yeah.
best life.
Yeah.
Mhm. But I think it requires a lot of courage to be able to acknowledge, first of all, that you aren't living that life that you want, that you aren't doing what it is that you want, because it's it can be pretty easy, especially if you have other financial responsibilities like taking care of kids and trying to get them through
Oh yeah,
school and all of those things, to stick your head in the ground and go, I'll just do this for the next 20 years and then I'll worry about what I really want to do after all of this takes place, right? Like
yep,
there can be that tendency that we fall into to doing.
I just think we also change. And what fills her heart is different, could be different now. And
Mhm.
that's what you're seeking. And to bring it down just to like, day to day of, as we live our lives and we're changing from year to year, that those things that really get down to what are important to us probably change. And, maybe the way she does her work, like maybe she needs more one-on-one where she's actually
Mhm.
feeling in a different way. I don't know. But I just think that we change and we should acknowledge that we change and we're allowed to change. And the things that we thought were the be all end all 5 years ago aren't necessarily what we
right.
think are now.
Right.
That I think is a really important point, to recognize that we do change and to be evaluating
Mhm.
along the way instead of waiting until there is, you know, a self crisis, to then say, oh my gosh, like this isn't, I'm not doing what I had hoped to be doing by the time I've reached 40, 50, 60, whatever that situation is.
Right. Exactly. So I'm going to ask you, viewer, what do you think you would do if you woke up with that feeling? And do you have those feelings at this time? Comment below. We would love to hear. And if you think this episode would be somebody else would like to hear, please share. Make sure you hit subscribe and hit notifications so you're notified every Wednesday when our next episode comes out.
Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you as a regular member of our community.